This is Jean-Jacques. Jean-Jacques works as a communication officer at the European Commission, under the supervision of a European Commissioner, a Director of Cabinet, a Director General, a Head of Unit, a Chief of Sector, Peter, his N+1, and a couple more people that it's not worth mentioning here.
Who's saying that?
Jean-Jacques speaks English with a terrible French accent.
Terrible.
But as he says himself, as a Frenchman, he shouldn't have to bow before the English language.
Voilà.
Jean-Jacques is a communication officer, but actually never studied communication or had any significant experience handling a successful communication strategy.
My tweet on danger of sailing offshore last year got more than 2,300 retweets.
Indeed. He studied political science, worked in a bunch of consultancies, and then passed the episode test and got a lifetime job.
I also worked in a communication agency.
For 6 months, as an intern.
The thing is, Jean-Jacques is actually a pretty creative person.
But by the time he got to where he is, he understood that creative is as synonymous with the European Commission as French people is with humility.
He quickly understood that he had more chances to bring peace to Middle East
than to get his creative ideas approved by Peter, by his chief of sector, by the head of unit, the director, director general.
Okay, we got it.
So he eventually convinced himself that working for the European Commission was good enough after all. Now he resents himself for not being the creative person he once wanted to be.
No, I don't.
But deep down he does.
No, I don't.
But he does.
Hey, I don't, you freaking voice. I made choices. I'm happy with my life. I don't resent myself, okay? Now that's it.
But he does.
Sous ce bordel, je me casse.
When Jean-Jacques authorizes himself to dream, he thinks of living everything and becoming a carpenter or a photographer or something with the environment. I mean, it's pretty vague actually. Of course, he'll never do it. He has a lifetime job. A lifetime job is like an English pudding. It looks delicious from the outside, but it's not as tasty as you could expect. More importantly, it deprived Jean-Jacques of the very thing that good communication needs: risk-taking.
Hey, it's like your opinion, right?
No, it's not actually.
Well, it depends.
It doesn't really. Good communication is synonym with risk-taking because you only get people's attention when breaking with usual patterns. So let's do the math. Good communication equals risk-taking. Jean-Jacques' position equals comfort. Risk-taking is the opposite of comfort. And while Jean-Jacques is not the opposite of a good communicator,
Thanks.
let's say that he's not on the perfect path. Now, while most people have failed to raise against the system or to try and convince their bosses to think differently or to speak English with a proper accent, a few pioneers did manage to implement great EU communication campaigns. But as they say, change starts with one single individual at a time. What if this individual could be Jean-Jacques?
Me?
Yes, Jean-Jacques. The future of EU communication lies in you.